set myself aside, lead the way on this trial. If you don't know the way, we can stop and make a change. I know we walk for days, losing hope, fading love.
Good morning and welcome to Dartmoor. More specifically, what I'm walking is the Dartmoor Way. That's right, I'm back on a new trail, this time the Dartmoor Way. And the Dartmoor Way is a fairly new trail. It officially launched, I believe, in 2022 in the format that it is at the moment. I think previous to that there were cycle route versions of the Dartmoor Way, but the full route as it is now, as I say, 2022. So the Dartmoor Way, what is it? The Dartmoor Way, it's a circumnavigation of Dartmoor National Park, following as close as it can really to the border of the park, taking in some of the outer lying hamlets and villages and towns along the way. It's about 110 miles, and the guidebook that I'm following splits that down into 10 sections, so hopefully fairly easy going. For those of you that are new here, hello, welcome. Previous to this hike, I did take on, for my first ever long distance walk, one of the toughest I think there is, and that's the Southwest Coast Path. And for that walk I was following Paddy Dillon's guidebook. Now that man is a bit of a machine, and his day stages were, well, some of them were incredibly tough, so hopefully this walk is a little bit more easy on the legs and on the knees. But anyway, yes, we've just started the route. Today starts in Ivybridge, and we're going to walk on to Shipley Bridge, which is just south of the Avon Dam. Started the route, as I say, down in Ivybridge, by the River Erm. Obviously the River Erm is not a stranger to us. Again, if you followed my coast path walk, you'll know that we crossed the Erm at the mouth in Bigbury Bay back, I don't know, probably a couple of years ago now. So yeah, it was nice to sort of start this walk with a link to the coast path as well. But yeah, climb, long sort of steady climb out of Ivybridge, a little bit of street walking. Then we came up through this beautiful sort of Devon green lane, full of boulders and gnarly tree roots and lovely ancient oaks. The sun was sort of shining through all the leaves. It was, yeah, a beautiful lane. And then we've come out onto Harford Moor, which is sort of Dartmoor proper really. And we're just skirting around the edge of the moorland here. Lovely view over Devon, South Devon in front of me, looking out to the sea. But anyway, yeah, good to be back, good to be out. It's a beautiful day. So yeah, let's get on with the walk and see what we find along the way. So we're now following along the Lake Tramway. The tramway was built in 1911 to transport workers and supplies out to Red Lake and Left Lake Myers, which was a clay works. And the clay was then transported via pipes back to a sorting plant, which I think we will walk past a little bit further on. The tramway runs for just over 8 miles out to Red Lake Myers, and yeah, it closed down in 1930. Right, so we've come off the tramway now and we've actually dropped down off the moorland, heading quite steeply down a track, heading towards Bitterford. Now back there, just where I saw those couple of horses come up onto the common, that was where the tramway ended. It's where there would have been a turntable there to turn the tramways around for them to head back in the other direction. But from where I am now, see the chimney of the old sorting plant for the clay. Right, so being down into Bitterford, not much there, just a nice viaduct, railway viaduct going over the village. There is, I believe, a public toilet there. I think I saw a public toilet and a pretty large pub, so a bit early on the route for me to stop and have anything there, but the option's there if you fancy it. Anyway, steep climb out of Bitterford, up a private driveway, some lovely properties up there, and now we're up onto the moor again, heading on towards and through Rangerton Golf Course. It's actually quite a special day for me actually, because today, Bank Holiday Monday, late August, is the 1 year anniversary today of when I completed the Southwest Coast Path at Southaven Point. So yeah, it's been a long time since I've been out, and I apologise for that. I don't know why exactly, a mixture of things, a little bit of flatness, I think, after completing the coast path. Miss it all the time, you know. If I still had more of the coast path to complete, then absolutely I would have been out a couple of times already this year walking along that. But you know, that was a sort of a 4-year project journey for me, and when that came to an end, you felt a sense of loss. And I don't know, I just didn't maybe quite have the motivation to get myself up and go. You know, I've been planning walks all year. I've got lots of books. I've been looking at OS maps and making routes and looking at trips away. So it's nearly happened, but it just hasn't quite. But, you know, as the year's gone on and we've got closer to this anniversary, I felt like, you know, now's the time to get back out. And, you know, that was the most amazing adventure that I completed on the coast path, and now's the time to make and find some new adventure. So yes, that's why we're back out today, and yeah, so far I'm really enjoying it. It's a completely new landscape compared to the coast path, you know, rather than the cliffs on one side and the sea on the other. This landscape's a bit more open, so I've got a bit more to look around and show you, so I've got to be mindful of that on these walks. But so far, yeah, quite a lot of bracken, quite a lot of horse and sheep poo to dodge, but yeah, very pleasant walk. So just coming down off Rangerton Moor now and heading down into Rangerton itself, and walking along quite a narrow country lane. Just seen a car coming the other way. There's a car park up at the entrance to the moorland behind me. But yeah, just to point out that it's quite narrow lane here. And when that car came along, you know, it's a case of having to stand up in the hedge and pushing yourself in quite tight. But not a busy road. That's only the first car I've seen on this stretch. But I think that's what this route's all about, really. You know, rather than staying up on Dartmoor itself, up on the moorland, it sort of touches the moorland, comes back down into the villages and hamlets, and then back up again onto the moor. So it's quite varied walking. Quite a lot of elevation actually on today's walk. I can't remember off the top of my head what it is, but I remember when I was planning the walk, I sort of thought, if that was a day on the coast path, it would be quite a lot of elevation. But I think what I've noticed so far is the elevation, the ascents on this walk so far have all been quite gentle and, you know, up tracks rather than up cliffs. So it's a lot easier, a lot more manageable to do the same elevation in a day than perhaps it is on the coast path. Anyway, on into Rangerton. Right, so 6.5 miles in and pretty hot, and yeah, it's been nice walking. It's been a mixture of some field walking like I'm in now, a lot of green lanes, some very quiet roads as well, but yeah, I've hardly met any cars and it's all been fine. But not much in the way of amenities. As I said, there was a pub and a toilet back at Bitterford at the early part of the walk, but I haven't come across anywhere since then to stop and, you know, get any refreshments. Not a problem for me today. I've got my water, I've got some lunch, but having said that, I haven't actually found anywhere that I fancy stopping and eating my lunch yet. But anyway, yeah, been very pleasant. We're just coming up towards, I think it's called Lydia Bridge, which is just on the outskirts of South Brent. So yeah, I've got about 3.5 miles until we get to my end point for the day. I did have the option of extending today's walk and pushing on to Buckfast, but that was another 7 miles, and you know, first walk in a year, wasn't sure what my legs would feel like, so I've sort of stuck to the guidebook for today. I don't know, it's still up in the air. Possibly when I get to Shipley Bridge I'll decide to push on, but it's quite an extra push if I do make that decision, so I'll probably play it safe and end it there for the day. I didn't mention earlier, the Dartmoor Way, you know, essentially it's a very large circular walk, so you can do it in any direction, but I am going, which way am I going? I'm going anti-clockwise, as that's simply the way that the guidebook is written and laid out, so that's the way I'm doing it. There is also a high moor link which goes right across the middle of the loop, sort of splits the north and the south moor in two. So you could theoretically do a bit of a figure of 8 walk to encompass that part. My plan is to do the full circumnavigation and then come back and do a separate walk across the high moor link, right across the middle. But anyway, that's, you know, 10-11 walks in the future, so we'll get to that when when we finally finish the rest of it. Just another 100 miles to go. Oh, right, back up on the open moorland again. Steep walk from the village or the little hamlet of Aish. I'm now walking along Aish Ridge. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Got a view in front of me here of Ivybridge Beacon. We're not heading up that way though, but we've had that view most of the day. We've sort of been skirting around the south of it. But yeah, it's the best viewpoint we've had of that today. We're just heading on in front of us now towards Corrington Bore before we then make our way back down towards Shipley Bridge and the end point for today's walk. First though, I might stop and eat my lunch.
Saw you paint a picture of a face that wasn't even close to mine. I know I shouldn't be in love, but it's so hard to move on. You haven't changed, you've stayed the same. But if you did, I'd still love you anyway. I'd give you the world like I promised I would, even though you wouldn't do the same. I'd give you the world like I promised I would.
So just after I came through that gate with the monumental sort of stone spheres on the top, I met a lady, first person I've seen for hours and hours. Anyway, she was sort of stood there and there was a couple of cattle just on the common land in front of her. Anyway, she said she doesn't like cattle, she's a bit scared of them, so I offered to walk with her around the cattle. We were sort of heading in the same direction. Anyway, not sure she found it particularly funny, but I did say to her, at least now if they do charge at us, it's just a case of who can run fastest out of me and her. Anyway, we got past them fine, so she was very grateful to have met me and got her past the cattle. Anyway, we are just under a mile now from Shipley Bridge, so yeah, on the sort of final stretch. Just wanted to say about the way marking for the route. It's been very good. A few finger posts, but mostly, you know, the little discs with the Dartmoor Way emblem on, you know, stuck to most of the gate posts and stiles and stuff that you're having to go up and over. The only bit that's unmarked is the open moorland sections like I'm on now. So I think it would be unlikely for you to have any difficulties finding your way, but I've got a GPS on me today with the route all plotted out. So yeah, and the visibility obviously is absolutely perfect, so not a problem today. But yeah, the marking has been absolutely fine, not an issue with that. So yeah, really good, enjoyable walk. As I say, just less than a mile now until we get to the end of the walk today. Right, just walking down what's called Diamond Lane. It's part of the old ancient route that the monks would have walked from Buckfast Abbey to Plimpton Priory. It says in the guidebook that perhaps it's called Diamond Lane because of these diamond shape marks that have been scored into some of the rocks, obviously designed to give a bit better grip, because the guidebook does say that this path can become particularly slippery. Luckily today, it's bone dry. But yeah, in the wet, I don't think walking down this lane would be particularly fun. Right, there we go, that's Shipley Bridge. It's the River Avon down there behind me. So that's the end of today's walk. Next time we're going to follow the River Avon upstream up to the Avon Dam and then on to Ashburton, I believe that walk finishes at, taking in Buckfast en route. So yeah, part 1 done, another 9 to go, 10 if you include the extra sort of High Moor link walk that I'm planning on doing. But yeah, really nice day. If you've enjoyed it, then give it a like, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed and you're interested in following this Dartmoor Way walk, then make sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you want to go back and look at some of the stuff I've done previously, I'll include the playlist for the Southwest Coast Path. A lot of you have watched it many times already, and that's great. You know, that's brilliant because it just keeps my channel ticking over in those down months when I'm not out walking. So thanks for all your support over the last 12 months. Anyway, I'll be back soon and we'll continue this walk on to Ashburton. Lovely. Anyway, thanks guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.